On today's Minute of the Apes, like Alma, I'm obsessed with primping in the mirror, or in this case, the Zoom video, as I tease my hair.
Take your sticky paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Ready to the divine bomb.
The only good human is a dead human! Where there is fire, there is smoke.
The minute of the apes. 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 Yay!
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. And I apologize for stammering during the open, but we've had so many,
dare you?
We've had
How
so
dare you?
We've had so many gremlins of weird things playing back that I was literally like, oh God, what is it? Thank God I actually paused that clip before it actually happened, so we didn't have to start over again. It's Wednesday, and I finally got it right.
Yay. New comic. Well, technically, it's second new comic day, I guess.
Second, new comic
Right.
day.
People are doing the checklist on
DC
Sunday.
and Marvel.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So my husband bought this hair gloss, if you will, hair oil.
Okay.
And something about the lighting in here and the fact that I put it on, I'm just like, this is awesome. My hair looks great.
Did
I
he
really do.
buy
I
it
don't know
for
if you knew. I don't know if you noticed. I keep teasing with my freaking hair because it's just like the lighting and the oil, and I'm like, wow, this sheen is nice.
I was about to say, how does it compare to my bathroom? The lighting.
I intentionally did not take any selfies in your bathroom. As weird as that sounds.
Did your hand ache
Uh-oh.
from not doing it?
You totally froze on that. I have no idea what you just said.
Oh, I was saying, did you have like a phantom pain in your hand from not taking the picture?
Yeah, I did. I was actually wearing my vintage 70s polyester short sleeve shirt,
Yep.
and I was like, oh man, I need to take a shot of this and share it on the internet. I did not. I'm growing.
Self-control. You're a big boy now.
It is almost like a morning ritual for me, as I don't like social media, but I'll scroll through and there's my friend Richard flexing in, no shirt, and I'm like, good morning. It's like, I don't even have to ask, and I get to see Richard without a shirt in the mornings. It's like awesome.
I know. If anything, I'm predictable. So
Well, and I like that about you. I really do. I know that I get my morning fix of Richard, and that's everybody needs a morning fix of Richard.
Get your morning gun show.
we can talk about that on the in-between. It's actually all building towards something, believe it or not.
It's not just to entertain those of us who don't look as good as you do.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Hey.
No. Let's talk about some apes. I'm
All
sorry.
right, fine. We'll shift over. Minute 28. Sean, tell us what's going on.
All right, we start minute 28 with, holy crap, is that cult? And ends with the Geiger counter starting to sound alarming.
All right, here we go. Minute 28. Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
The governor's very irritable lately.
Who wouldn't be, living in this hell of radiation for all these years?
If the bomb hadn't killed the old governor, boredom certainly would have. Alma, I just want somebody to talk to. Anybody.
We are at best brave, and at worst mad to be here. This background radiation alone will give us 300 Röntgens per hour.
Meaning?
That unless we leave this place within 2 hours, we shall become inmates.
Oh, this is a ghost city. I want to put some flesh on it.
Radioactive flesh?
Well, we're all radiated, but at least we're active.
As mentioned today, we have a village's worth of apes, humans, and a not-so-dead city.
So we at least have stuff happening that, okay, we got things to talk about today.
We got callbacks, yeah.
Oh, good Lord, Sean, you're always super loud. Hang on, I don't want to blow out the listener there.
Bah.
So, first thing I've got to say is apparently mutants exist only in canted angles. They decided that every mutant shot must be wacky and it has to be a little off skew. And I'm kind of okay with that. You know, you go with visual motifs. But the bigger thing that hits me is that we start. So we have the previous shot of the mutants lugging tires around in the previous minute. And now we get Culp walking up there. And yes, it's Culp. And he's bored. He's bored, and his little cheeky poo has somehow found a frickin' cotton ball and a mirror that didn't melt in the war, and she's dabbing something on. Okay, is the makeup store next to the Firestone store?
Oh, there's so much that has to be unpacked here. Again, all right, so we know Caesar has a kid who's, we'll say, 10 years old. So the bomb has to have gone off at least 10 years ago. But Culp has not aged a day. Is that part of his mutant powers now? The mutants, they can speak telepathically at some point in the future, we know, but they don't age. What's going on?
It's the stocking caps. The stocking caps keep.
There you go.
I don't know why that's bothering you so much. I just found the dialogue really, really stiff.
Oh, it's very stiff.
That too, yeah. Let's put some flesh on it. I'm bored. Yeah. Well, motherfucker, you survived a nuclear bomb and you're talking about being bored.
So the exchange between the two workers moving stuff was not in the script. They added that in, I guess, to kind of establish that Culp was the governor, to let us know what's going on. But the second actor was almost playing it for comedy. So I don't know why we're in the. What did he say? I don't know why we're in the city, or there's nothing to do. Or it was just a weird delivery.
Well, okay. So right away, what are they doing? It looks like in the previous shot when they had the tire that they have military type vehicles. You could see that it looked like a Jeep, and there was some other stuff. Even instead of talking like that, why aren't they saying, why does he have us preparing these vehicles? There's no, why aren't they calling out the obvious? They don't know at this point that there's an ape threat.
Right.
Instead of saying I'm bored and moving trash around, they should be saying something like rations are getting low. We've scoured the city and we can't find any more stuff.
That would be a little more world building in terms of what's going on at this moment and why they're moving everything around.
Well, usually when you have that maniacal person leading and no one understands why, you get the minions saying, "Why are we doing this?" Then he goes up to his little She-Ra up there who's dabbing her face, and she even questions, why are you doing this again? He's like, and he could say something like, you have to keep people motivated. You have to give them a threat to be, you
have to have a routine or something.
Right. You have to be afraid of something. Any kind of thing like that builds for Culp. It also says what's going on and why they're working on these vehicles, even though they don't know there's a threat.
Culp says that the bomb hadn't killed the old governor, then boredom certainly would. Okay. So he establishes that he himself is bored. And then
the governor's dead. Yeah.
He says he just wants to someone to talk to. He wants to put some flesh on it. And I thought that was a really odd choice of words, specifically just so Alma can reply radioactive flesh. Like I just want to put some bodies to it, something. Right. So who says flesh?
It's a ghost city. I want to put some flesh on it. First of all, who calls anything a ghost city? And second of all, who says then I want to put flesh on the city? Yeah, it's just so strange.
Well, we have forefathers, ghost cities, and flesh.
Yeah.
And Alma saying, radioactive flesh, and then Culp's delivery for the next line was a little more stilted. We're all radiated, but at least we're active. What? I don't understand any of what's being said right here.
My note for that was, well, he's taken to the fact that he's poisoned radioactive very well, doesn't he?
I mean, with the scene where if he says we're all radiated, but at least we're active, and then we cut to the two guys talking about the fact that they're doing nothing out of boredom, well, that would have been that their dialogue would have made a little more sense after he says at least we're active, because you get the sense that he's doing, to your point, that he's making them do something to be busy.
Even on top of that, they do a complete movie trope where he literally walks from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen just to have some movement in the shot.
Well, so I can tell you basically what the setup was for all of this, right? We do really just kind of descend on Culp. They have a whole description here. Culp was formerly lieutenant to the late governor of the modern city, Governor Brick, and is now himself the city governor. He's much changed.
This is all in the script? Holy crap!
He's
Okay.
much changed. His face and beard are scarred by radiation burns. Camera will pull back to reveal him manipulating the dials on a shabby, dust-covered console. Close shot on Alma. Radiation has damaged Alma also, but she remains a beautiful woman. Since the huge diminution in the city's once vast population, she has been promoted to communications officer, though there are now, alas, very few people left for the governor to communicate with. Yet Culp, when bored, sometimes takes conscious pleasure in indulging the fantasy that the dead city is still a live city, and frequently keeps the complacent Alma uselessly busy at communications console. It's only
Okay.
only,
See,
it's only. Go ahead.
I do like that with uselessly busy. To say that what they're doing is pointless. All right.
Wait till you get to the first dialogue they're supposed to speak. It's
All
pretty
right.
horrendous. It's only play acting, but play acting can lead to fanatication, which itself can lead to madness. Alma sits among a complex apparatus, including a largely ignored device which is connected to an electronic eye. Angle on Culp and Alma. Culp paces the small room restlessly with boredom. Culp, Alma, get me the Chamber of Commerce. A small pause. A small pause. Alma, there's still a chamber, Mr. Culp, but no commerce. Culp, I know that. I just want somebody to talk to. Somebody, anybody. Isn't there a doorman or somebody? There is no door. You know that too, Alma says. And then Culp adds, if the bomb hadn't killed the old governor, then boredom certainly would have. Like it was just like nonsensical.
It was just like, hey, let's be punny. Let's throw some jokes out there.
What's the style of writing for Waiting for Godot? It's that's absurdist. It almost sounds like that's what they're going for right here.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that I'm glad they didn't have that in there, but yeah, I'm bored. I mean,
call the Chamber of Commerce. Well, there's a chamber, but there's no commerce.
you were literally have nothing else to do, and all you're doing is saying I'm bored. You have to fight. They should show these people struggling for life.
Exactly. Why aren't they given anything in this moment? If you're going to give them menial tasks to do that have no apparent logic behind it, then have him saying, if I give them this, they won't be as worried that we don't have water. Any kind of logic like that.
I have to keep them occupied, otherwise they'll realize we're dying.
I mean, they in their description of what Culprit is doing with Alma to keep her busy and that kind of stuff, basically says what we want them to be. We want him to vocally mention about what's happening around. Like their description tells us that's what he's doing to her, and what we want to believe that he's doing to the workers. It needed to be vocalized.
Show me, don't tell me.
Okay, because we went to the Show Me, Don't Tell Me, there are two filmmaking things said that we got to talk about that are awful. Number one, is it Alma? Is that her name?
Alma.
Yeah, Alma. When she's using the mirror, the unmotivated light source that is hitting the mirror, then reflecting on her face, it is so incredibly harsh that at first you're like, what's going on? And I don't even notice the mirror. And where's this coming from? Why are they doing it? It's unneeded. The worst part of this, though, from a filmmaking standpoint, and I've got to go to the very beginning of the scene, and I'm going to break this down visually. I know you guys don't have it in front of you. This scene starts with a canted angle, and for those of you that might not know, canted angle simply is the Batman type angle. It's off skew.
It's not straight. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It pushes in on Culp as he walks and is pacing around in an area, and then it cuts. He turns and walks, and just for no reason, it cuts away, and we go to a mutant, an African-American mutant, carrying something across the screen going right to left. He lays that down. Then he speaks to someone. He turns and he walks to the left. And then it cuts to Culp upstairs and him walking away. Those two shots imply that is that African-American guy walking away. And it's like, whoa, huh? And then
I can see what you're saying, yeah.
And it's like just awful. Whoever assembled this should have been slapped horribly because it makes no sense. Why didn't they put some wide shots in this damn thing so it also slowed down? Why do we have to jump? Why are we just cramming this so fast that we aren't even paying attention to screen logic? It's borderline awful.
They don't want to show how shitty the set is. That's why.
So your comment about wanting a description of about the Geiger counter and that scene where they say, we only have 2 hours before we become inmates was actually supposed to happen as they descend into the city, into the tunnels themselves. wasn't supposed to happen here. I get why they moved a little bit more, but it doesn't. It would have been for me better early on to get a sense of their urgency